Hey everybody, Luther here from Luther's Woodworking. Today we are going to be doing part 3 of making this large engine, train, wooden toy train. But first I want to say, if you're first coming on this video and you have not watched my part 1 video of this large wooden train, you need to watch the part 1 because I talk about making the wheelbases, all the measurements for the holes, and doing that cord loop for the pulling the train cars, and then the hot glue in this hole, all the measurements for that. That way you can make the wheelbases for all these different cars. The wheelbases are different lengths. The only thing different is the wheel location. On that first video, part 1, we did a 7-inch wheelbase. But today's wheelbase is actually going to be a 6-inch wheelbase, so the location of the wheels are going to be a little different. But the rest of the wheelbase is the same on how it's made. So you need to go to the video part 1 so you know how to make these wheelbases. So today we're just going to work on actually the coal car right here. For the train, this is actually goes behind the engine, and we're only going to be doing the top part right here, the two sides and this back that goes on your wheelbase, and then we'll put the wheels on it. So, and also in the description, I will have a PDF that shows the 6-inch wheelbase, and it'll show the wheel location, 1.1 from each end. It doesn't show the other holes. It just shows the wheel location. Then it'll have the pattern for the two sides and the back piece. And it's also got this cover plate that goes on the bottom of the car right here. This is the cover plate that goes on the bottom. This covers up that glue hole where you put the hot glue in right here on the car. I started putting a cover plate on there so you cover up that hot glue. So it looks pretty nice. It's all finished. So today we're just going to do the top part of this car. I already got the wheelbase made for the coal car, 6 inches. We're going to actually make the sides of it. So the sides are made out of 1/2-inch material. So what I already got a piece of 1/2-inch plain down material, and I got my templates. If you watch other videos of mine, you know I make templates. Here's my template for the shape of the coal car on the sides. You'll need 2 of them, and you'll need 1 back piece. This back piece right here for the coal car. And I got all the measurements on that PDF, so make sure you download that. So I use my templates basically to determine how much wood that I need to make my pieces. And basically I just lay them on there, and I say, okay, right here I need 1 of them, and I need another one right here, and then I'll take my back piece right here and I'll put that on here, and I'll say, okay, so all I really need for this coal car is a piece of wood this long right here. So I'll cut that right there. So basically for this coal car, I just need a piece of wood this long right here. And this is 1/2 inch. And then remember I said about the grain. Usually on my templates, so I don't forget, I'll write the direction of the grain of the wood that you want it to go. And in this case, the grain is going to go lengthways of the longest piece on the 2 sides. But then when you get to the back of the car, and here I got one of these done. You get to the back of the car, I got the grain going this way. Now, it's not the longest length of the piece, but I want the grain to go all the same direction. So I made the grain go this way instead of up and down. You can do whatever you like, but I like to have the grain all going in the same direction. So I got my parts laid out. We're going to head over to the bandsaw. Like I said, I cut all my parts using the bandsaw. It's just so much easier to do that. So we're just going to go over there and cut this board off and start cutting these parts. All right, guys, at the bandsaw here. Now, we know that we need 2 of these sides for the coal car. And they're actually 5 inches long. So, we're going to set the fence up. We're actually going to set this fence up 5 inches. And it doesn't really have to be exact, but 5 inches is what I'm going for here. So there's 5 inches there, and what we're going to do is just take this board, and we're going to actually cut 2 of these pieces because we know we need 2 of them sides for the car. All right, so we got 2 pieces cut at 5 inches. And if I lay my pattern on here, you can see that they're 5 inches. All we have to do now is just cut this design, and I'll just trace it on here. We just need to cut that design right here across there. Now, I'm just going to take this over to the scroll saw after we get done here and just cut these 2 parts like that there. So this is pretty much done. We got the 2 pieces for the sides of the coal car. Now, we need 1 piece for the back. And like I say, on my pieces, I put down how I want the grain to go. So I don't forget. So I want the grain to go this way. So I'm actually going to take, and we know that this is 2 inches. 2 inches this way here, I believe. Let me just double check. Okay, so we know this is 2 inches. So what we want to do, we want to set this fence at 2 inches. Make sure we got the grain going the right way. We can see here we got it set at 2 inches. And now we're just going to cut us off a piece 2 inches wide. Now we have a piece 2 inches wide right here. Now we just need to set the fence at 2 5/8 inches to cut it down to the length. Okay, so here's our pattern that we used. It's exactly the shape and the size we need for the back end of that coal car. All 1/2 inch wood. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the scroll saw. We're going to cut these 2 pieces out. I can actually take this piece right here and set it on here and trace it on this piece. And now we have the parts traced on this here. We just need to cut these out and we're all ready to start assembly of that coal car. Okay. Okay guys, that screw saw here. Now, we already know the end piece is cut to the size it needs to be, so there's nothing we have to do for that. That's done. We just got these coal car pieces. We just got to cut that little curve right there and come across the top of each one of them. So there's one side right there. All right, so we have the two sides cut for the coal car. It's going to sit something like that, and then we have the back right here, which is going to sit something like actually it's going to go on the inside. It's going to sit something like this. So there's the coal car. It's going to sit something like that. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go and we're going to sand all these parts up, get them ready to glue together. What I usually do is take 220 and I sand both sides of the wood right here on all the parts, get it nice and smooth, and then we'll glue this together, and then we should be almost actually done making this coal car. All right, guys, we are back. So what I did was, and I know I realized I did this off camera, I went ahead and glued these parts together for this back of the top of this coal car. Basically, all you got to do is glue that center piece in between these two side pieces. It's pretty simple. Once it's glued together, let it sit for a while. This is all glued tight now, and if you notice, I tried to get it as level as possible on the bottom. You can feel a little bit of off, but on the top here it's a little off as far as being straight across. So what we're going to do is take that on the sander and we're going to sand this, because you want that flush, so when you glue it on your base, it sits nice and flush on your base. So we're just going to go over to the belt sander and sand this top and sand this bottom and get that nice and flush. All right, here at the belt sander right here. Now I'm just going to basically set this on here and get that nice and flush right there, and do the same thing with the top part right here. Get that nice and flush right there, and then I'm going to set it on the end right here and kind of get this nice and smooth right across this end right here. Okay, so that's really nice right there. We're going to do a little bit on the top right here. Alright, so we basically got it pretty smooth right across this top. Now I'm just going to set it and clean this edge up right on the back side right here, because I can feel a little bit where it's kind of rough where I glued it together. Okay, so that looks really nice right there, nice and smooth. Now we're just going to take and I'm going to round these edges off just a little bit. All right, so I got this really nice and smooth in the back, how that cleaned that up where that was glued together. And I got the bottom all nice and smooth, so when I glue it on the base, it sits flush. And then I got this top nice and smooth. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some hand sandpaper and kind of go over this whole thing and smooth this all up. And then we're going to glue that back on that base. All right, guys, so here we are. We are back. I got this all sanded up nice and smooth. You can see this is all nice and smooth and sanded. Everything looks nice and flush right here. And also you want to make sure everything is nice and square. You can see all this is nice and square across the sides and then the bottom nice and square. So you want to make sure that all is good. Once you got that, you're ready to actually glue it on your base. And it's going to sit on there really nice. Basically, you're going to line the front of that up with the front of your car. And make sure you get this glued on the proper way. Don't glue it on like this. Make sure you have the opening towards the cord. Another thing I want to say is if you want to paint this, do the painting now, because it'll be a lot easier to paint this black than once you get it glued on. So any type of painting, like I mentioned before, that you want to do on these cars, whether you want to paint the wheels or this here, make sure you do it before you actually start gluing things together. So now we're just going to put some glue on the bottom of this, and we're going to actually just go like that, stick some glue on there, and we're going to set that on there and let that dry. And you know, you don't even have to, because I got this nice and flush, I won't even have to put any type of weight or anything on this this here. It should glue up really nice. I'm just going to set that on there like that. And you can see it fits really nice. There's plenty of room for the wheels to go on right here. You can see. And you just basically let that sit on there like that. You can see right here, everything's flush with the side of with the base. And another thing we're going to do, I think we can actually put the wheels on now. Because like I said, I'm not going to paint any of these cars on this train. They're all going to be natural. So we'll just take some glue here and stick some glue in the hole for the wheels. Pop the wheels on. Give them a little spin. Turn this over to the other side. You really don't need a whole lot of glue when doing this. Put the pin in there, make sure it spins. And basically, you have your coal car. Now, every once in a while, roll that car, spin the wheels so they don't stick. But basically, you have your coal car. Very easy to make. But like I said, if you have not watched the part 1 video on making these wheel bases and the setup blocks, take a look at part 1, because that'll explain to you how to do all this for the setup blocks for the wheels. And I think that's about pretty much it. Make sure you make some templates. I always like to make templates. I also like to I also keep all my patterns in a Ziploc bag. Keep all my stuff in a Ziploc bag marked coal car. So I just have to grab that bag, and I can make all these cars I want. I will have a PDF form in the description that shows the wheelbase, the sides, the end cap, and the cover plate for underneath. I'll have all that on a PDF file, so you can download that. All the measurements. I used the same measurements off that PDF file to make this, and you can see how nice this turned out. So I think you should be good to go as far as following the measurements. Don't forget your pin in the back. Get that glued in for the next car to loop on. So basically that is it for this video. Now I want to just show you here. We'll take this, set this aside for a minute. We have the engine that we built on the part 2 video, and we still have to let this one dry a little bit. But we have the coal car right here, and you should be able to see it. This is the coal car, the second car. So you guys hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and give me a thumbs up. Let me know any comments or any questions you got for building this. They're real easy to build. The next video, we'll be making another car, because we have 9 cars to make. We'll be making another car that goes behind this. And so that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you liked it. Give me any comments that you have, and then we'll see you in the next video.